Hey guys, Malefic here, and this is the third installment to my how to use the Greatsword tutorial videos. Now, this part is going to cover things like gear, greatswords, what skills you want, and all that. And for you people that want to know, I'll even show you all of my greatsword sets, just so you can steal them. The first section of the guide is titled Skills to Look For. Pretty self-explanatory. I'll list out all of the skills that you should be looking for on any gear set as a greatsword user. These skills are Unsheath Crit, Concentration, Unsheath Stun, Fast Sheath, Attack Up, Exploiter, Sharp Sword, and Sharpness +1. These are all the main, best skills you'll be looking for in the greatsword. There's others you can use that are good, but I find these the most useful. The next section of the guide is titled Comparing Your Weapons. Now, there's a lot of good greatswords out there, but if you want the advantage and to get the fastest kill times you can get, you're going to have to know the best greatsword for every situation. Now, there's equations that can be done mathematically to show you which greatsword best fits which monster. I'll show you how to do that now. Alright, this may get kind of confusing, so try to bear with me the best I can. I'll put arrows to show you which line I'm working on right now. I'll lead you through the whole thing. Alright, we're going to begin calculating the total damage on the Elatrion Greatsword while it is down slashing a Rathalos in the head. Alright, the Elatrion Greatsword has 205 Raw, 45 Dragon, White Sharpness, and 100% Affinity if you're using Crit Draw. In the first line, you multiply Raw times the Sharpness modifier your Greatsword has. Okay, White Sharpness is 1.32, so 205 times 1.32 equals 270.6. In the second line, you have to figure out how much damage your Greatsword does when your Affinity crits. Now, total damage is 270.6 times 1.25 Affinity multiplier equals 338.25. Alright, this line is where it starts getting tricky. Now, before you start trying to do this yourself, I suggest you have Violet Kira's Monster Data Guide and Hollywood Chuck's Weapon Damage Guide up at the same time so you can figure out these values. The third line, we're figuring out how much damage Rathalos' head takes from a down slash from the Elatrion Greatsword. Okay, you bring down 338.25 times 48%, that's how much percent of your weapon's raw the down slash does, times 75%, that's how much damage Rathalos' head takes from raw, and that comes out to 121.77. On the fourth line, we're figuring out how much element damage Rathalos' head takes. You skip this part if you're using just a raw weapon. Okay, the Elatrion Greatsword has 45 Dragon times 1.125, that's also the White Sharpness modifier for element, times 35%, that's how much Dragon element Rathalos' head takes, and that comes out to 17.72. Now on the last line, all you do is add the raw and element totals that you got. The Elatrion Greatsword's total comes out to 139.49. Alright, now we're going to begin calculating the total damage of the Black Tigrex Greatsword on a down slash on Rathalos' head. The Black Tigrex Greatsword has 245 Raw, no element, blue sharpness, and 70% affinity with crit draw. Again, on the first line, we're just multiplying Raw times the Sharpness multiplier, and the blue Sharpness modifier is 1.20, so 245 times 1.20 equals 294. And on the second line, again, we're just finding out the damage when Affinity crits, so 294 times 1.25 equals 367.5. Now, the third line on this is pretty confusing as well. You only do this part of the equation if your Greatsword has an uneven affinity. That'd be like 20%. If it has either 0% or 100%, you don't do this. You start by multiplying the damage when your affinity crits by the chance of it critting. For instance, Black Tigrex has 70% affinity with crit draw. I have a 70% chance to do 367.5 damage. So you multiply that together, and under it I put 257.25. Now you take the damage your Greatsword does when Affinity doesn't crit times that percent. So 294 times 30%, and that comes out to a total of 88.2 under it. And then you add those two values together, and it ends up with 345.45. Now again, on the last line, you're just finding out the total raw damage Rathlos's head takes from a down slash from the Black Tigrex Greatsword. So that's 345.45 times 48%, that again is the damage that your down slash does, times 75%, that's the amount of raw damage Rathlos's head takes, and that comes out to 124.36. Now, as you can see, the Elatrion Greatsword came out on top by quite a bit. Now, I apologize for this, and I know how confusing it is, but this is honestly a extremely useful skill to know. Oh, and I forgot to mention that I put the links to Hollywood Chuck's weapon damage formula and Violent Kira's monster data guide in the description, so check those out when doing this. Alright, and here's the sharpness modifier chart for you guys that I put together. I'm sure you can figure out how to read this, it's not that difficult. If you can't seem to remember the numbers, I'll just put a download link where you can get this picture file, so you can just look at it anytime you want, or you could just pause the video and, you know, look at these and copy them down. The next section of the guide is titled Useful Gear Sets. Now, I'll be showing you some of the best Greatsword sets you could put together. Now, I'm warning you that a lot of these require a pretty ridiculous charm. I made this first set basically for fighting Diablos. It has high grade earplug, unsheath crit, fast sheath, and concentration. The charm needs to have 5 hearing protection and 2 slots. I made this set mainly for fighting Gold Raytheon and Silver Rathlos. It comes with Sharpness +1, Concentration, Unsheath Crit, and Earplug, and is best used with the Januga Greatsword. The charm is 5 Artisan and 3 Hearing Protection. I built this set mainly around the Tigrex Greatsword since it requires Sharp Sword. This set has Attack Up Large, Exploiter, Concentration, Unsheath Crit, Sharp Sword, and Health -10. The charm is 5 Fast Charge and 9 Attack. This set probably has the highest damage output without Adrenaline. It has Attack Up Large, Unsheath Stun, Concentration, and Unsheath Crit. The charm is 5 Fast Charge and 9 Attack. This set is probably my personal favorite because it comes with every skill you could ever need to play with a Greatsword. It comes with Unsheath Stun, Fast Sheath, Concentration, Unsheath Crit, and Attack Up Small. The charm is 5 Fast Charge and 9 Attack. Alright, I wanted to show this set not because it's one of the best, but because it's one of the good sets you can start off with in high rank. It comes with Concentration, Enfeebler, Improved KO, Unsheath Stun, and Unsheath Crit. The charm is 5 Crit Draw and 3 Fast Charge. The rest of the sets I'm going to show are my Adrenaline +2 sets. These sets all use the legs black leather pants. And if you can't beat Rage Match, which is an event quest you can get these from, then I suggest you not try to make them yet. This set comes with Attack Up Large, Adrenaline +2, Concentration, and Unsheath Crit. The charm is 5 Fast Charge, 9 Attack. This Adrenaline set is really good for fighting monsters that you don't aim for their head, so it doesn't come with Unsheath Stun, but it comes with everything else you could need. It comes with Adrenaline +2, Attack Up Small, Fast Sheath, Concentration, and Unsheath Crit. The charm is 5 Fast Charge, 9 Attack. Last but not least, this set is really good for sniping. It comes with Adrenaline +2, Fast Sheath, Unsheath Crit, Unsheath Stun, and Attack Up Small. And the charm is 6 Sheath, 10 Attack. Alright, now I wanted to do kind of an overview on all the Greatswords that I've collected and tell you the pros and cons of them. A Mossing Cloud really isn't that good because it needs Sharp Sword, and even if it has Sharp Sword, it still goes dull too quick. The Elatrion Greatsword Gleaming Obsidian is probably the best Greatsword in this game, and I love it. You can list Divide as just basically for looks, it's kind of useless to me. Anguish is a good greatsword, but it's outclassed by the Elatrian Greatsword badly. Rathalos Brilliance is the best fire greatsword in the game, you'll be using it a lot. The Black Rex Greatsword is my favorite raw greatsword in the game because it doesn't take any dumb skills to make it worth using. The regular Tigrex Greatsword sucks without Sharp Sword, but it has the highest damage output of any raw. If I remember correctly, Hijikimon has the second highest damage if you get Sharpness +1, but if you don't, it sucks. Dark Lightning is the best Thunder Greatsword, and you'll be using it on anything like Gold Rathian and Silver Rathalos. The Division Reaper is good for water, but I don't use it any because of its sharpness. And the Glacier Barrier is pretty good for ice, but I never use it because it was low raw. Your main two greatswords are going to be the Elatrion Greatsword and the Black Rex Greatsword though. Alright guys, that's it for the gear section of my tutorial, and I just want to let you know that if you've actually watched all 3 of these videos and made it this far, then I really appreciate it, and I really hope you learned something from it. Now, there should be 4 links right now to either go back to the basic training, go back to the advanced training, go back to the tutorial menu, or go to the monster tutorial sections. Thank you guys for watching, and I hope you enjoyed.